Millions of dollars are made using a simple business model, and the business just keeps growing. What is the business model I'm talking about? Drop servicing. And in today's video, I'm going hard, giving you every single strategy and tactic I used so you can build your own drop servicing business. By the end of this video, you'll know everything you need to know to get started and start making sales. So let's dive in. Step 1, like the video. Studies show that you absolutely can't build a drop servicing business without liking this video. It's basic science. Now that you've done that, let me answer a burning question. What is drop servicing anyway? Well, I'll tell you what it isn't. It's not selling services from Fiverr to clients you find with Google ads. It's not affiliate marketing where you run ads for another company's services. No. Drop servicing is different and much better. It's a low-cost business model where you find a service that's selling well online, find freelancers to deliver that service for you, and build a brand around the service. It's basically a method for building a digital agency that sells services at a low cost by starting off with freelancers, because you can build a team for free because they work on a per project basis, meaning you only pay them when you get paid. And the exciting bit is you can get your first sales for free with the marketing methods I'll discuss in this video. But why would freelancers want to work with you anyway? Why would clients want to work with you? In fact, how the hell does drop servicing even work anyway? A few reasons actually. Firstly, great freelancers want great clients, and they don't have the time or desire to focus on the sales and marketing side of things. They want an easy way of getting a steady stream of clients so they can geek out on the things that they actually enjoy. And the smart ones know that by working with you, they can focus on what they do best while you handle the marketing and sales for them. It's a win-win situation. But what if a freelancer sees that you're charging more than you're paying them? This is a common worry that many drop services have, but you don't need to worry. That's because your freelancer agrees to the pricing with you before they start working with you. You're just adding your profit margin to that pricing. I've never once had a freelancer get mad that I'm selling the services for more than I'm paying them. It's totally normal. Do you ever get mad at your boss for making money from your work? No. You agree to a rate and the business retains the value created. It's basic economics, but this isn't even an issue because your time and skills are also worth money. That's why you make the profit. You're the marketing and sales. That's a big deal. But what about the clients? Why would they want to work with you? Well, you need to remember that we're all trying to save time and energy. It takes a lot of work to go out there and research all the best companies. Most companies are happy to pay you money to save that time and energy. Also, you'll be able to give a better price than your competitors in most situations. Price doesn't always matter, but it helps. Success with drop servicing comes down to being in the right place at the right time with a good offer. And this business model works because it's a win for you, it's a win for the freelancers, and it's a win for your clients. Now, is this for everyone? Who should do drop servicing? Well, simple answer, anybody that wants to, but sorry to disappoint you, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a method of building a real online business. That takes time, effort, and patience. And if you felt the need to click off this video when I said that, you probably shouldn't start a business. If you're lazy, half-assed, doing a million things at once, or unwilling to, come up with creative solutions to novel problems, then you shouldn't start any business, let alone a drop servicing one. But if you're serious, then it's one of the best options that you have right now. And here's another bonus. You know that marketing and sales are the highest value skills that you can learn, right? Well, building a drop servicing business will make you extremely good at marketing and sales. You'll be able to apply those skills to pretty much anything and make money with them. And it doesn't matter what demographic you are. We've got people around the world from the United States to India getting sales, people as young as 16 getting sales, people as old as your granddad. I'm not joking. In fact, if you're watching this, I guarantee that we've had members older than you probably. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to do it. Pretty much any reason for not taking action is mental or mindset related in most cases. On that note, there's a pretty creepy study done on dogs I'll tell you about later in this video, which will blow your mind, by the way. And some people hate when I say this, but you can fully automate things so you take your hands off the wheel and the business drives itself. If that sounds too good to be true, keep watching. Now, there's something that makes drop servicing special, and that's its flexibility. The only limit is really your imagination. there are literally thousands of combinations between services, niches, marketing channels. You could start a drop servicing business selling copywriting services to website design agencies who sell to their clients by finding them on Google. You could sell resume writing services to college graduates by posting in student Facebook groups or running Facebook ads. The barrier to entry is really low in this market, but don't worry about it. There's way too much demand for any one competitor. We only have 24 hours in a day, and if our client list is full, we simply can't take on anymore, and that means they'll go somewhere else. So if we want more, we've got to hire, train, and scale, and this is a ton of effort once you've already reached an income that you're pretty happy with. So you'd have to be insane to keep working at that point. So now let's talk about a juicy topic. What are the best drop servicing niches right now? The ones that I'm going to share with you fit a few key criteria. There's high demand with low competition and easy to start, and you can find freelancers and learn about the product enough to sell it quickly. The first niche is reputation management for restaurants and cafes, which I covered in this video here. The next is video editing for YouTubers, which I got into with this video here. And the third is salespeople for coaches and influencers, which I got into with this video here. So go ahead and check out those videos after you watch this one. But before we dive into the step-by-step guide, there's a very common question I get that we need to answer. How much money do I need to start? And the answer is almost none. Zero. But that's not the whole story. This question is based on a bit of a faulty assumption that money is the only resource that you have when starting a business. And it's not true. You also have time and energy. Time is pretty straightforward, but energy is your ability to actually be productive with the time that you have. You need to order your time, energy, and money to figure out, how much you can invest into your business right now from those three sources. Sit down and make a plan. Maybe you don't have any money, but you have a lot of time. Maybe you have no time, but you have money. Figure out a plan that will actually work for you. You might be like, I'm going to work for 2 hours per day and spend around $100 per month in my business. But you need to also consider how much energy you can focus on your business and be consistent with it. If you lead a busy lifestyle, you might say, well, I know myself, I only have 2 hours per week to invest in my business on the weekends as a hobby. Anything is good enough as long as you're consistent with it and take action. This race is a marathon, not a sprint. Now, let me use myself as an example, okay? Around 8 years ago now, I started my first business. I was working in a call center at the time, didn't make much money, and lived in a very expensive city, Wellington in New Zealand. I only had about $200 per month to actually invest in my business. And because of the job, I only had about 2 hours a day to invest in the business. I also wanted to keep doing things like, going to the gym and having a social life. With this, I was able to get my first few $1,000 sales around 3 months into starting my business. And I wasn't doing things optimally like I'm about to show you, by the way. So let's break down the numbers real quick. 3 months building the business, 3 sales equals $1,000 each, $3,000, production costs of $900, marketing costs $200 per month, so $600, and then profit was $2,100. Keep in mind, things were much more difficult when I started back in 2015. That's basically what it took me to build my first drop servicing business, and that was by doing it badly. I didn't put much time or money into it, nothing special. And after I got those first sales, I did go a lot harder though. Now, I'm going to give you the method for how to get your first sales 100% for free with 2 hours per week. You're going to want to take notes. But let's break down in detail, step by step, the answer to the question of how do you actually build a drop servicing business? And we're covering all bases, starting with the most important one. Now, I'm the most practical guy in the world, but this isn't a super spiritual woo-woo video, but we do need to break down your starting point. So the first step is the mindset phase for your drop servicing business. From my own experience building successful businesses and from what I've seen in those who've failed and succeeded, mindset is king. The best business plan in the world will fail hard if the mind behind it is the problem. These are the key mindsets that you need to have if you want to succeed. Here's a quote: "He who has a why to live for can bear with almost any how." Viktor Frankl. Before you start anything, you need to decide why you want to do it. It might sound obvious, but barely anyone actually sits down and figures out why they want to achieve something before they start. This is a disaster. If you don't know your why, then when things get tough, you'll give up easily. Make sure you actually sit down and write your why down if you want to succeed at this. Define what success looks like, get clear on how it will all feel to fail, how it will feel to succeed. Pause the video and do it. It's a super useful concept for any self-development project, by the way. Now, the second tip is inspired by a must-read book for any business owner. It's called Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker, and it's a short read but packs a punch. Managing yourself means using your time, money, and energy in the most efficient way possible. It means having the discipline to make decisions that yield the most output. For example, staying in on a Friday to work on a new marketing campaign instead of getting drunk with your friends. It means having control over your actions so that what you do is actually aligned with who you want to be, what you want to achieve. And this is way harder than you think. We're all only human. We want to do what feels good usually, which is not the easy thing. But this destroys your potential because achieving our dreams usually means walking the most challenging path. And if you're incapable of doing that, you're wasting your time. To manage yourself, you need to track your habits, keep score with your progress, and plan your actions. You need to be able to see at a glance whether you're on the right track or the wrong track. I recommend doing that right now. The third mindset tip is something that almost every successful person that I know is a living example of. They're able and willing to come up with creative solutions to problems that arise. The people who fail are copycats. They just see what other people do and copy them. Then, when problems come up, they can't find an answer for it on Instagram, so they're totally screwed. Social media has given us an endless rush of information, which is good for some things, but mostly it's just made it too easy to look outside of ourselves for a solution when the best answers that you'll ever find come from experience, from looking within, testing things, trying stuff out, and thinking of new ways to work. Barely anyone does this anymore, and those that do are most often the richest people, most successful people that you'll ever meet. Everyone else tries to copy them, and sure, some of them make a bit of money, but they never achieve their full potential. And when you copy someone else, the most that you can ever be is a decent imitation at best. But when you build your creativity, you have absolutely no competition. If you build the mindset of creative problem solving instead of copying, you'll end up in the 1% eventually. It's inevitable. This relates to the next mindset you simply must adopt if you want to be a successful drop servicer, online business owner, or successful anything really, and that's self-reliance and self-responsibility. Now, most people feel like victims and they feed this mindset because it absolves them of responsibility. This feels good for a moment, but it destroys your chances in the long term. Having a victim mentality and blaming the external environment is the easiest way to fall into a state called learned helplessness. And here's a definition. Learned helplessness is a state that occurs after a person has experienced a stressful situation repeatedly. They come to believe that they are unable to control or change the situation, so they do not try, even when opportunities for change become available. Okay, now I need to tell you about a pretty dark experiment involving dogs. I'm sorry in advance if you're a dog lover, but it's a mind-blowing experiment, a very famous one as well. It's called the dog shock experiment, also known as the learned helplessness experiment, conducted by Martin Seligman in the 60s. A hard time, right? The intention behind the experiment was to understand learned helplessness and its impact on our behavior. In the experiment, a bunch of dogs were divided into 3 groups: the control group, the escapable shock group, and the inescapable shock group. The control group of dogs was put in a box with 2 chambers separated by a low fence. In one chamber, the floor was electrified, delivering an electric shock, while the other chamber was safe. The dogs learned to jump over the fence to the safe chamber to escape the shock. In the escapable shock group, the dogs went through a similar setup, but this time they had the ability to stop the electric shocks by pressing a lever in the safe chamber. They had control over the situation and could escape the shocks when they wanted. In the inescapable shock group, the dogs were exposed to the same shocks as the escapable shock group, but they had no way of stopping or escaping the shocks. They were trapped and helpless. After this initial conditioning, there was a second part of the experiment. All the dogs were placed in a new situation where they were given an escape route. a low fence they could jump over to avoid the shocks. The control group and the escapable shock group quickly learned to jump over the fence and escape the shocks. They had previously learned to avoid the painful situation, but the inescapable shock group behaved very differently. Now, here's the crazy bit. Despite having the opportunity to escape, most of these dogs didn't even try to jump over the fence. They just sat there letting the shocks happen. It was as if they learned that nothing they did could change the situation. These dogs had learned helplessness. But what did this horrific experiment accomplish? Well, it showed that when animals are exposed to uncontrollable bad stuff, they might start to believe they have no control, even when they absolutely do. And this makes them passive and unwilling to take action. Yes, we aren't dogs, but we have more in common with them than not. In the end, you aren't helpless and you're not a victim. That's just past programming rearing its head. I know bad shit might have happened to you in the past, but you still have control over yourself and your own actions right now. Success is mostly about consistently doing the things that get you results and constantly improving. But if you always blame circumstances or other people, you won't ever succeed. It's as simple as that. So with that out of the way, let's get into the research phase of your drop servicing business. Now, it may seem a little strange, especially if you're a beginner, but trying to start some new crazy business idea that nobody has ever done before is not the best way to start a business. Crazy, right? The percentage of people who successfully do this is extremely low. First of all, innovation requires convincing people of your idea. It needs a lot of capital, and your idea is very unlikely to work in general. Have you seen Shark Tank? Most ideas fail or get shot down by investors. To start a business that's profitable from the beginning, you need to stack the odds in your favor by choosing high percentage plays. And this means getting into a business where you're highly likely to be successful. A business that's already working for other people and has low barriers to entry, meaning it's easy for new players to enter the market. That's drop servicing. We don't want to reinvent the wheel with our business. We need to reverse engineer what our competitors are successfully doing and what they're successfully selling. The first thing you need to do is choose your highly profitable service. How to do this is pretty simple. Go to freelancer sites like Upwork and Fiverr, look at what's selling the most by checking how many gigs there are, or how many jobs are being posted for the service, create a spreadsheet and break down the data. Beyond the data, you should also think about what you personally like. What do you want to learn more about? What do you want to sell? Do you have knowledge in a certain service? Can you learn enough about it to sell it quickly? Or is it too complicated for you? All of these are very important questions to answer for choosing your service. So once you've chosen your service, you need to reverse engineer your competitors. And this basically just means being a spy. Do some in-depth research into what they're doing, look at their website, their social media, and fill in their contact forms to discuss with them the purchase of the service. Ask questions, figure out exactly what they're selling, how much they're selling it for, and the way they're selling it. For example, are there pricing packages directly on the website where you can make a purchase, or do they ask you to get on a call to discuss everything with them? If they do ask you to get on a call, do it and prepare some questions. See how much intel that you can gather. And this is what I did when I first started my business. I think the first time I called, they hung up on me right away, but I was like 007 without the physique, or the woman, but I was getting on the calls with my competitors, being a spy, and figuring out exactly what they were doing. Once you've created a detailed system of what your top competitors are doing at all levels, you can move on to the next step. Now you've got a service that you know works, you've reverse engineered the competition and got all the information you need on how it's sold. You need to choose your niche. And this means choosing a specific segment of the market that you're going to be targeting with your service. So for example, Google ads for plumbers, okay? This can be done by using your brain box to come up with who you think would be the most benefit for your service. Then you do research through Google, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, talking to freelancers, talking to competitors, come up with a list of who's the best target market for the service that you've chosen. Now, unless you've chosen to deliver the service yourself in the beginning, you're going to need to find your high quality team at the lowest price, which is pretty easily done. Come up with a set of specifications for a project that most competitors seem to be offering, then talk to as many freelancers as possible. Don't be lazy, create a spreadsheet and figure out who can do the job at the highest level of quality for the lowest price. Now that you've got all the information that you need, you're ready for the next step. And here's where you craft your offer and make it customized to the service that you've chosen for your target niche. For example, if you're targeting dentists, you wouldn't talk in terms of getting them more sales. They wouldn't resonate with that language, but telling them that you help them fill their practice with patients and have a 6-month waiting list, well, that's going to get their attention. So play around with it and come up with an offer your target niche finds appealing. An offer that's all about you and offers no value is a bad offer. Offer real value and solve a painful problem, and to make it tangible, include packages, pricing, features and benefits. Be clear on exactly what you're selling and why. Now we move into the build phase of your drop servicing business. This is where we take all of the information you've gathered in the research phase and put it into action. We're going to go through the process of building the structure, writing your copy and launching your first campaign. Exciting stuff. What you're going to do now is choose your first marketing channel. And notice I said channel and not channels, because one of the first mistakes people make is taking on too many channels at once and doing a bad job with all of them. So it's far better to pick one and just absolutely crush it. So let's talk about the options that you have. First of all, you have the outbound marketing channels or the free marketing channels. Here, you're going to be reaching out to people who don't know you with your offer. And these are known as the free methods because they're drumroll free, okay? But you can also pay if you want to automate them with people and software and scale them. So these include platforms like Facebook outreach, LinkedIn outreach, and Instagram for outreach, which you can learn more about in this video here, for example. But outbound marketing also involves cold email, cold calling, and selling directly on the freelance networks themselves. I recommend starting with one of these channels if you have less money but more time to invest in growing your business. Next, you have the paid advertising marketing channels, which includes things like Google ads, YouTube ads, LinkedIn ads, and Facebook ads, which I've already created a video on. So you can give that a watch here if you like. And these are the best. If you have more money to invest in your business but not a lot of time, the third set of marketing channels are inbound marketing channels. These include things like search engine optimization, social media marketing, and partnerships or affiliates. Now, these marketing channels take a lot more time to work, which is why, of course, I recommend implementing them last. They are, however, extremely powerful and useful ways to get a lot of traffic to your offer. So you can build them slowly in the background while other channels bring home the bacon. Now, a crucial step is the build phase, building your digital real estate. And this is basically a fancy word to describe the home bases for your online presence. This could be your website, your LinkedIn or Facebook page, Upwork profile. You don't need anything and everything. Just stick to what's essential for your chosen marketing channel. So for example, if you're going to choose Facebook page outreach, you'll need a Facebook page, obviously. If you're doing cold email, you'll need a website. If you're going to sell services on Upwork, you'll need, crazily, an Upwork account. So you just need at least one page where you're going to be driving traffic to what explains your packages, your offer, etc. It basically just does all of the selling for you. Now that you've chosen your marketing channel and digital real estate set up, you're ready to launch your first marketing campaign. And we get into each and every marketing method and channel in the drop servicing blueprint, where I actually, build a business with you from scratch, give you everything from my businesses, coaches, communities, templates, unlimited access courses, whatever. If you want to learn more about that, you should check out the 2-hour training in the description below this video if you haven't already. But you're going to want to look at what the numbers are in your marketing system so that you can optimize and scale, and use all of the information that you gather during your research to come up with at least 10 templates of what is going to work. So you could have 10 outreach templates for cold email or Instagram DMs, whatever the medium is, but you need different variations of the message to see which version resonates with the niche in the market. We will then look at the winner and create more variations to test and so on. But a good way of this is to study marketing, get templates from online sources, or come up with your own. In the drop servicing blueprint, we actually give all of of our templates from our businesses that work. So if you followed all the steps before, you have your system set up and you're ready to launch your first campaign. And remember to let go of any emotional attachment to the outcome. This is just a test to see what's working and what's not. We can then optimize from there. And remember, as the person who brings the client and makes the sales happen, you are in control of the sales pipeline. That's your job as the drop servicer. You're the visionary who makes the pipeline run smoothly. So what is that pipeline? It's all of the steps that lead from someone not knowing who you are to purchasing your service, to pulling out their wallet and giving you money. So this starts with lead generation, which is where you're gathering info, intel, and data on your chosen niche. Then it's making contact, which is where you reach out to these leads to see whether they're a potential prospect. And then it's all about setting up an appointment where you can communicate with your leads with your offer to get them to set an appointment either with you or your sales team. But you don't need to do sales calls. Check out Muhammad here. He gets sales in his drop servicing business with 0 calls. But many drop services will do the calls, have a conversation, and then after that conversation is had with the prospect, we follow up with emails and get them to buy. So these 5 steps are what lead to sales in any drop servicing business. But there's a big caveat. The sales call is not always essential to close the deal. It just depends on how expensive your service is for the most part. So what I just described is essentially the entire marketing and sales process you're going to go through in order to get your first sales. It's all you need to go from $0 to $100,000 per year. But if you want to go beyond that, if you want to get results bigger, then we need to go to the next phase here, because this is the optimization phase. Before you even think about making 7 figures, your system needs to be bulletproof and running like a well-oiled machine. If 100 people show up asking to buy from you, you need to be damn sure that you can actually handle that level of business to a solid standard. So if you take on new customers and do a bad job, that's a business destroying problem, right? So there are 3 steps to optimizing your system. But before we get into those, let's recap the entire system that you've built up until this point. You've created your plan and goal to know where you're heading. You've reverse engineered freelancers and competitors to discover what service to sell and how to sell it. You've chosen your first marketing channel and target niche and created the offer that will get you the $100,000. You've built your digital real estate and you understand the sales pipeline you need to implement in order to consistently get sales. Now, in order to optimize everything, I've got 3 words for you, okay? Testing, testing, and testing. When you test, you learn. And when you learn, you know what works better over time. That means more revenue. The more you learn, the more you earn. I think Ty Lopez said that. So we aren't just testing the copy you use in your offer itself. You need to also test things across every aspect of your business, the marketing, sales, production, and post-production stages, because you're going to set up your drop servicing business so that it brings you income across those stages. In order to properly test things in your business, you need to be tracking everything. You can't exactly track everything in your brain unless you have a mind palace. Now, personally, I like Google Sheets because it's free and simple, but there are a ton of other options out there. And when I say track everything, I mean everything. Tracking your numbers is important, but that becomes even more so once you automate and scale. The health of your business depends on it. So make sure to track the accounting and finance stuff overall. But in the beginning, track the marketing stuff too. Your daily, weekly, and monthly website visitors, how many messages you send out, your leads, calls, and sales. It all helps you remove the guesswork from the equation and makes the decisions that, move the needle easier. The final piece of the puzzle when it comes to optimizing your drop servicing system is about being consistent. In statistics, you need a sample size that gives you enough data to actually be confident in your conclusion. So you can't know your observations are correct by, looking at the 3 times you sent an email. You need to send a lot of emails, for example, to be able to draw any accurate conclusions. And when it comes to testing your copy, I recommend a sample size of at least 1,000. For example, send 1,000 emails before you decide if it's good or bad subject line. And remember, in drop servicing, we get high ticket sales. Maybe one sale is worth $1,000 to you and it costs $300 to deliver the services. This gives you $700. That means you should be willing to spend $700 to get that $1,000 sale. So at the worst, you can break even and then sell additional things to that client. You can't send 100 emails, get no sales, then throw in the towel. Too many people quit because their 10 emails didn't get a response. Don't be one of those people. Focus on the data and sample size, consistently make offers, and scale up your ability to make better ones. Now that you've optimized your system and it's running smoothly, how do you go from $0 to $1 million? In the end, it comes down to making more offers across more marketing channels, but your capacity is limited. If you're doing all of the work yourself, you're not going to have time to handle more clients, which is why first we're going to focus on the automation phase. And this comes after you've optimized your system, because by now you know the system like the back of your hand. You can easily bring people in and educate them quickly on how to run it without you, okay? You can then take yourself out of the system altogether, but won't that cost more? Exactly. That's why you need to be making good money before you automate, and you've got to be willing to give up some of that profit in order to step away from the business and automate it with people and software. So in order to automate properly, you need to go about planning your drop servicing team. So what exactly would a fully automated drop servicing team look like? To give you an example, you'd have a lead generator to do outreach and bring people in. You'd have a salesperson to manage the sales funnel and make sure that those leads convert into paying customers. And then you have a project manager to automate the communication between the client and your delivery team. Now, once you've planned out the people you need, how much you want to pay them, and how many hours you'll need them, you can go about hiring your drop servicing team. So this can be done using platforms like Upwork, Freelancer, People Per Hour, online jobs, and more. Make sure you interview them on a call to get their vibe, look at their past work and testimonials, and you really need to make sure that their vision for how they work matches up with your own one. But listen, hiring your team is all well and good, but if you don't go about managing and training your drop servicing team in the right way, you're going to have a lot of problems down the line. So you need to make sure that the cogs are turning smoothly, and there are a ton of great tools out there for managing your drop servicing team. Now, one of those is called Hubstaff, which gives you screenshots of their work and activity times to see how much they're really working and so on. You can use tools for automating your marketing, such as Woodpecker, Snov.io, ActiveCampaign, and virtual assistants, and then you can use tools such as Basecamp and Trello to automate the production or delivery process. So all of this should be done by first creating working procedures, and these guide the team through training videos and detailed steps with screenshots of the task so they know what to do every step of the way. Now, I'm going to stop teasing you and give you what you really want, okay? Once you've fully automated your system, you can move deeper into the scaling phase. So your goal is to profitably make more offers both through your main marketing channel and through more channels that you add, adding in more marketing channels, more services, more niches. Just increasing the output of your offers and what you're selling will make you more money. So you're testing, tracking, and optimizing those campaigns over time. And I'll never shut up about testing, but there's a really good reason for it, because it makes you more money. So what I just described is only the first way to scale your revenue, okay? So there's many ways of scaling your revenue. Step one is make more offers, but it always costs more to get a new client. Sometimes it can be way more powerful to focus on getting your current clients to buy again or keep them buying month after month. You can increase your retention rate by focusing on providing a better service, offering a long-term deal, and selling longer-term contracts. You can increase your buy rate by coming up with new uses for what you're selling. So for example, if you're selling animated videos, you can sell a video not just for their website, but also for their social media, their sales team, and every other service they offer. You can also add upsells, cross-sells, and downsells for your service. So little extras that add value to the package they've already purchased, or additional services that just make sense for them. So for example, with animated video production, a natural upsell would be to do their video in a different language. And with website design, a natural cross-sell service would be SEO. They need to optimize their website to rank in search. But probably the simplest way to make more money from the customer customers that you currently have is to increase your prices. So you would think that that would mean less clients, but the fact is it will probably just mean you drive away the poorer, price-focused clients and get the clients that want to pay more for better quality. The human perception of price is that higher prices mean better quality, and we can't help but make this association. Studies even show that we associate higher priced wine with a better taste, when this just isn't always the case. Now, if you want to learn more about starting a real online drop servicing business, click the link in the description below this video to watch the free 2-hour training on how we make money with drop servicing. Don't forget to comment below any questions you have for me. I love seeing and answering your questions. It really helps the algorithm as well. So I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Like the video, help more people see it so we can help more people make money online, get more people in our community. Helps them out a lot too, so I appreciate you for that. And if you want to learn more about drop servicing and actually see more of my videos, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when I post more content, more strategies and tactics for building a drop servicing business. Anyway, click the link description, check out more videos. I'll see you in the next video. I'll talk to you soon.